The Des Moines City Council Transportation Committee is now in session for June 13th. And with that, let me recognize that all committee members are present. And the first order of business is the approval of the minutes from the May 9th meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're there. All right, we'll move on. Tommy, we're going to do the final transportation improvement plan before it gets brought before council tonight.
Yeah, great, thank you. Yeah, so as you mentioned, the final version of the TIP will go in front of the council tonight under a public hearing. And last month in the Transportation Committee, we went over the draft TIP. There's only been, since that draft that was shown a month ago, there was one update to that, basically for the 4th Avenue corridor in North Hill. We added that as a project. It's fairly low on the priority list, but it's on here. So that way we can always look at future grant opportunities that may arise. But I think getting on the list is important. It's similar to 8th Avenue, which has been on the TIP for years up in North Hill, and so it's right after it in priority. So it's good to get that on the list. Other than that, there's been no changes. We did not receive any public comments. We advertised twice in the Seattle Times, and so I'm not going to go through each project kind of like we did a month ago, but if you have any questions, I can field them.
The only one I had was, we had talked about the potential of seeing if the Redondo area streetlights might be incorporated with the parking lot project, and you guys were going to look into that.
Yes.
You have slated for 2027 and the parking lot 2025.
Okay. Yeah, let me continue to look into that one.
You'd given some reasons, but we were like, if we could tear it up, and since the pier's taken a little bit more time, it was just an opportunity if we had the ability to do so, but whether we had the funding or not was the part of it, I think.
Right, so right now the focus on Redondo is really to get the restroom. It's out to bid currently. We're opening bids next week. So once we get that, hopefully we'll get that to construction later this summer. And then that will also provide some conduit to start implementing the paid parking down there. So that's kind of where Redondo sits right now.
Would the conduit, sorry.
Just turn on the mic.
Just, would the conduit also be able to be incorporated into the streetlights? I mean, since we're tearing it up, can we at least put the wires down? Or is that not going to be in the same area?
No, it probably wouldn't be in the same area, and really that'd be more coordination with PSE and where they'd be pulling that power. And that project would really be in coordination with PSE, which we haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes, I also noticed that the plan for paving the north side of Redondo Way, where it butts up against Wooten Park, is included in that process is included in that process the handling of parking, metering, or anything that and on Soundview Drive, or is that still just not even being considered?
Yeah, I think our previous Public Works Director was more involved on that project and how that was going to play out. I'm not as familiar with that, so tough to answer your question right now.
So my question is it anywhere on the TIP, or is it included in that particular section, or is it just not even scheduled?
I think that it is part of the overall priority number 19 Redondo Area Parking Management Project. That's my understanding.
So that it would be considered if this is being, if the I'm sorry.
Okay.
But 19 is the Redondo Area Parking Management Project is the parking lot?
No, that is for parking within the neighborhood.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Any more on TIP? I mean, we've hit it several times already, and very little change from the previous one we approved last year. Okay. Let's move on to the capital improvement project updates.
Great, so I will run through our CIP project update. First project's currently under construction, College Way with Sound Transit. Currently under construction, we are awaiting the installation of the streetlights on College Way. That's one of the last remaining items to get that opened up. So I've heard the streetlights are likely to show up, I think it was mid-July, and then hopefully they can be installed soon after. So that's the only thing we're waiting on to open that up.
So, but we're not installing the lights?
No.
Okay, because I just drove by today and they are up there, the lights.
There are some pedestrian scale lights on College Way, but we're awaiting the vehicular lights.
Which I believe are the ones that I just saw as I just drove, literally just drove by,
Okay.
so, okay.
That would be news to me. Okay, 24th sidewalk project. So this has been under suspension due to some utility conflicts with power and communications. Glad to report that that project is going to start up again next Wednesday.
Fantastic.
We're getting the contractor back out there. The conflicts have been resolved, and so now we can get our contractor back to work.
So realistic ETA of the,
So we are meeting with the contractor next week to kind of get an updated schedule to see how things are going to work out, because we don't know, I mean, they've been off the job for a while now, so we don't know what they're going to come back with a crew, whether it's going to be a skeleton crew or they're going to be able to hit it hard with their employees. So that's still up in the air right now. Obviously, we'd love to get as much as we can done on this project this summer, but I think it will be difficult to potentially get to the final paving of the project before
yeah,
winter.
understood. You'd probably get that first layer and then come back next spring when it warms up again.
That would be the goal.
Okay. Just keep, if something miraculous happens, let us know, because we'd like to pass on some good news.
Okay, on to planning, engineering, and right-of-way acquisition, the Marina Steps. We're continuing to work with our design consultant on that, and then also coordinating with PSC for undergrounding of the utilities along Cliff Avenue. Everything's been going pretty well there. We've started to get into some of the details of kind of the play areas, the spray park, just working out some of the finer details of that right now. So everything's moving along with that. Great. We hope to go to bid on that in the fall. The South 200th and 199th North Hill Elementary Walkway Project. This one, as well as the Barnes Creek Trail South Segment Project, both of these are kind of right in line with each other. We're working with our consultants on the design and just starting to begin some of the right-of-way discussions. We haven't necessarily got into right-of-way acquisitions yet, but we're starting to pull title reports and getting into that. Some of these next projects, the 223rd Street, Complete Streets Improvements. So the planning work for that one is complete. In a future meeting, likely we'll put it on the schedule for August. We'll bring that planning document that was put together for that to brief the committee on. The ADA compliance program, citywide arterial traffic calming and guardrail programs, just kind of continuing our engineering evaluation to see what we can or can't do this year. We're just very limited on staff resources at the moment, so those are kind of off to the side.
So quick question on, it's not technically a guardrail, but kind of is. So as you come down 216th to hit Marine View Drive, there's the Des Moines sign that continues to have the couple pieces of metal, you know, moved or removed. Is there any efforts or something on the plan to just get those two pieces replaced?
Yeah, let me check into that.
It's just one of those things where every time I see it, it catches me, and, you know, just a nice look. It didn't look like it would be too complicated, although it could be.
Yeah, you never know.
You know, obviously, it could, maybe the parts have to be specially fabricated or whatever, and,
Likely would need to be
yeah.
specially fabricated.
Just,
for that.
it's just it's small, but
Yeah.
I think those types of things where we just did the 216th Sky Bridge and all that, and that beautiful road down there, and then it's just that.
Yeah, we can definitely check into that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, these projects, sort of in the red there, we're not currently working on in any capacity right now. Okay, planned construction. Obviously, the Redondo Fishing Pier and Bulkhead, that project, we received one bid. That was probably a couple months ago now, and rejected that bid. So what we've done is we broke out, as I mentioned earlier, the restroom piece, and that is currently out to bid. We're opening bids next Tuesday, and as long as we get a good bid, that would be on the council meeting, I think 2 weeks from today, is our goal. So it's a quick turnaround on our end to get the council packet in, but that's the goal right now.
And any progress on the fishing pier? You'd mentioned you're gonna go back to your contractors and maybe redo the RFP, I believe, and then see if you get a few more bids
Right.
and be competitive.
Right, so our consultant who is doing the restroom, their focus has been on getting the restroom project out to bid. So all their resources have been on that. They haven't gotten to the fishing pier at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's something, once we get the restroom going, then that's something we'll definitely be looking into.
Okay, keep us posted on that one. We have lots of questions about it, is why.
Okay, the 2024 arterial street pavement preservation. So the 2024 overlay program was awarded. Construction will start on that, I believe, right now tentatively July 5th. So that'll have a significant impact throughout the city because that's a quite substantial overlay. It'll be on 16th.
Sounded like you were just about to answer, but I was saying, do we have a map of where and when?
Yes.
Or at least the route they expect to go?
Right, so the main, there's two locations as you're headed down from 272nd down into Redondo, kind of down the hill. There's two sections before you get down to Redondo Beach Drive. And then the section from what we call the Twin Bridges there, just south of 250th on 16th Avenue, from there to 260th. That section's pretty beat up, so there's some substantial dig outs there, and I'm sure traffic will be significantly impacted. But it'll be great to have that completed.
Yeah, well, I think it's an understatement to say traffic's gonna be impacted when the Redondo portion is done. Do you have any estimation on what the length of time it's gonna take to make that repair?
I think each section, it's been a while since I looked at the schedule, but each section I think is probably about, I'm just gonna guess here, about a week. Is a week or two for each section. It's kind of the timeline on that.
Okay,
Where you'll have heavy dig outs. I mean, they'll be working on there for a while when they do channelization and
Right.
things, but when they're doing dig outs and grinding and paving, I would expect probably about 2 weeks for each location.
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, if I can just follow up with that one, is when you say a week or two, is it a week per each side of the street, or are you gonna do the whole street all at once and just cut it off, or?
Yeah, so we'll keep traffic moving through there. So
Okay.
it'll basically kind of be one side at a time,
Mhm.
is my understanding.
All right, thanks.
And I assume you'll be putting out signs saying you might want to take another route for the next 2 weeks or whatever?
We definitely will.
Okay.
Could I add, it might help if you were to send that notification to something like the Federal Mirror, because there's 8,000 cars a day that use Beach Drive, and I'm sure it's gonna be kind of a mess,
Yeah, we can,
for the
we can
commuter
certainly
traffic.
notice, yeah, as much as we can.
Mhm.
Okay, for large project support, Sound Transit Light Rail, I kind of covered that earlier under the College Way. There are still some Pack Ridge improvements, most of which have been completed. We're just kind of tying up some loose ends and going through punch list items up there currently. WashDOT 509 and 216th Bridge, so about a week ago, traffic opened in both directions on the new 216th Bridge over I-5, so that's exciting. I'm glad to have that, that closure behind us. The WashDOT SR 99 pavement preservation project. So this one is within SeaTac. I want to say it's about from 200th in SeaTac to Kent Des Moines on 99. And so that project is going out to bid. I believe WashDOT told us in about a week or so that'll go out to bid. They'll open bids a few weeks after that, and they anticipate construction potentially starting August, September timeframe. Likely what will happen first is they'll be doing the ADA improvements at all the intersections and then paving into 2025.
Sounds like a lot of people want to use I-5 over the summer instead of 99 or our streets.
Yep, and the rest of these projects, we've gone over a few times before, the successful grant funding.
Any questions? All right, well, that's what we had for the agenda today. Anything else that anybody wants to bring up before I move for an adjourn?
Well,
Councilmember Oxiger?
I'd like to explore a little bit on how the notifications, Councilman or Deputy Mayor Steinmetz, mentioned, is there a map or anything? Is there, with the new communications director, can we get something posted online that shows, the extent of what's coming and when?
Yeah,
So
I can definitely work with our communications director and get something out to the public, and it'll be on our website.
okay,
As well.
okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I'm good.
So, move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate it.